Colorado sky. Friday night's calling and the towns go quiet. From Doug Shaw Memorial to John McKissick Field, Carolina football, it's the heart we feel. Pickup trucks line up, tailgates in a row, Hot Stadium's rocking, Abbeville's ready to go. The Sumter Gamecocks charge, Gaffney's standing tall, every small town's dreaming beneath the lights of fall. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. In Gilbert, America, the bleachers fill with pride. Cheerleaders shout, the band's playing, no one's staying inside. The boys in pads hit hard, chasing that old dream. Under stadium lights, it's more than just a team. Mamas clutch their programs, daddies yell the calls, grandpas talk of legends in these hallowed football halls. From the low country marshes to the upstate's clay, four-quarter Friday lights the Carolina way. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. Shaw's roar to McKissick's sacred ground. Hot Stadium's fire, you can feel the sound. Sumter Gamecocks fly, Gaffney holds a line, J-Mo run the dang ball, we're screaming for a sign. Rivalries burn bright, the clock's ticking down. On four-quarter Friday, we're the talk of the town. When the whistle blows and the scoreboard fades away, the lessons from the field guide us every day. Teamwork, grit, and pride, it's more than just a score. Carolina football's what we're fighting for. From the PD rivers to the upstate's misty hills, four-quarter Friday gives our hearts a thrill. Four-quarter Friday, where the heart beats pound, South Carolina shuts down every town. From the first snap to the final play, we're living for the glory of a four-quarter Friday. So here's to the Palmetto boys, giving it their all on a four-quarter Friday. South Carolina stands tall.
Welcome to Four-Quarter Friday, part of the Chief Sports Network, talking South Carolina high school sports every Friday morning. Hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall, with weekly appearances from coaches, players, and media around the state. Let's go! Kick off the first quarter. Here's Justin and Steve. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy Halloween. We're glad you're with us on a Friday morning. Justin Hall, Steve Hall with you on Four Quarter Friday. It's the last episode of the regular season. How have we gotten here so fast? It's one of the fastest sports seasons in all of the land. South Carolina high school football wrapping up the regular season this Friday night, and we hit the playoffs as the month of November gets started tomorrow. And it sets up to be a very spooky Friday in a lot of these matchups across the state. We had a lot of action already on the gridiron last night. A lot of games played on Thursdays this week, mostly due to, well, let's be honest, you have security and you have police officers at all these games. And on Halloween night, those officers tend to have to be patrolling elsewhere. So a lot of these teams move their games to fit the community necessity and get their games out of the way on Thursday. Their players get to enjoy a Friday night off after a lot of great matchups last night. So a lot of stuff coming down the stretch for you tonight, or coming tonight. This morning, we want to remind you about all these games. We'll recap the ones from last week or from last night. We will talk about our player of the week from last week. We'll do all of that on the show today. Reminder, download the Chief Sports app. On the app, you can track every single score from across the state, and there are several games that you can stream tonight. So be sure to download that app and get that. That way you have that tonight, because it's going to be a jam-packed night of football. I'm just going to go ahead and let you know, you're not going to be able to get to all of these games. You're not going to be able to watch all of these games at the same time unless you've got a superb setup, and I would like to see that. So make sure to download the Chief Sports app. When you download the Chief Sports app, you can also go to the Chief Sports shop. The Chief Sports shop is now open, and it is available on the homepage of the Chief Sports app. Quality apparel, including Nike. It's available in men's, women's, and youth sizes, different colors, and orders ship within 2 business days. The shop is staying open until November the 19th. That's about a week before Thanksgiving. So make sure you get your jackets, your hoodies, your shirts, and more, all ahead of the holiday rush that we all know is coming. When you do that, we want to thank you for supporting the Chief Sports Network. Again, the shop is open. It's closing on November 19th. So make sure to visit the Chief Sports app and get your apparel today. Just try not to get all of the white quarter zips, because I have one on hold, and I would like for it to still be there when I actually purchase it. Because, Steve, I love a good Q-zip, and I'm to that point, I'm very excited about Gamecock men's basketball returning on Tuesday. But for now, we talk high school sports this morning. After that long intro, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good, man. And you got to be careful with the white. Yeah. It's like a magnet for ketchup and barbecue sauce and all that, but I love it. I love
Well,
the
you have
white.
to be you have to be. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: black is slimming, but there's something about a white Q-zip that just looks good. And you just got to be particular about what you're eating that day. Just know ahead of time that, okay, I've got to be careful. No crazy dressings on a salad if you choose to do that. I can't go to D's Wings,
Yeah.
right? If I'm wearing the white
Yeah.
Q-zip, I can't do that.
No
And Ed,
barbecuing.
right. Ed, the shop is open until the 19th. It's been open now for about a week and a half. The reason we're doing that is make sure we can get the orders in and get those out promptly and not be pushed up against the holiday rush that's coming. The shop is going to open 3 times a year, roughly. So just be on the lookout for that. But we're excited about that. But it's going to be closing quickly, to your point. So make sure you get your stuff. All right. So there was football last night. And I just want to let you know that I had made plans to go to White Knoll last night. Things didn't work out for me to literally walk to the stadium. So I stuck around and I turned on the television or the laptop, and I watched my Airport Eagles, Steve, play the Brooklyn Casey Bearcats on a Friday night. It's a rivalry game, right? And Lewis Clyburn in his first year, Chris Napier in his first year at Airport, and G.A. Mangus calling plays for Brooklyn Casey. Great Tailgate Talks episode, by the way, this week with Pat and Steven with G.A. I could listen to G.A. Mangus talk about quarterback play all day long. But I don't know if you followed this game. This will be the first score we mentioned. Airport lost 20-13 to finish the year 0-10. Not thrilling for me as an alum, but that I digress. I want to take you through how this game flowed. It was 13-0, like that. Brooklyn Casey up. Airport gets back in it with a touchdown, makes it 13-6. Brooklyn Casey tacks on a touchdown at the half. It's 20-6. Airport scores, makes it 20-13 in the second half. Airport has the ball with about 5 minutes left, Steve, and they drive down the field with a freshman quarterback, just dink, dunk, slants, some screen passes. It's air raid, but it's an air raid that's kind of restrictor plated a little bit. And they get down to the 5-yard line with 3 minutes to go. And you're thinking, oh boy, this is the game. This is it. And they have 4 shots at the end zone. First play, zone read, gets a yard. Second play, they run a read option. Quarterback keeps it, trying to surprise them a little bit. Loses 2. Now you're back at the 6. Then you got 3rd and goal from the 6. What do you do? What would you do if you're calling plays? Third and goal from the 6. You got 2 shots at the end zone. You're probably not getting the ball back. What are you doing to score?
Well, I mean, it depends on what the defense is looking like, but I would probably try to run it one time, or actually, no, yeah. I mean, again, it looks. What's the box look like? And
They're
it's
loading
gonna
the
be
box.
tight. It's
They're
gonna
loading
be
the box. They got about 6
a
or 7
little
in the
bubble
box.
screen, maybe
Okay.
little bubble screen.
I will let you
See
know.
what we
I'm
can
not
do.
questioning. I'm not questioning coaching, but they went fade to the left side of the end zone to a guy who is roughly 5'5", maybe. Then the next play was a fade to the right side of the end zone that was
Oof.
out of the end zone, like not catchable.
Yeah, unless you got Alshon Jeffrey out to the side, I'm not a big fan of the fade that close to the end zone ever, even in college, and heck, maybe not even in the pros. I mean, just don't love that play. But
Right.
I'm not a football X's and O's guru, and I don't see them in practice. But yeah, I don't know if I would have called that one myself, but.
Yeah. Oh, what I'll say was it was a perfect end to a rivalry game on the last night of the season for them. Unfortunately for Airport, they're 0-10, and that's how the season closes. Brooklyn Casey though rattles off some wins down the stretch. They get to 3-7 this year, and I'll have to look at how the playoffs shake out tonight and see if they're in. There were other games last night, so we'll go through these really quickly. The Lakeview Gators took down Green Sea Floyds 52-0 last night. Green Sea Floyds finishes the year 0-10. Hammond defeated Cardinal Newman last night 57-0. Pillion over American Leadership Academy 50-7. Pillion gets to 5-5 on the year. White Knoll takes down Chapin 42-7. River Bluff over Lexington 38-17. We mentioned Airport falls to BC 20-13 in that rivalry game. How about this, Steve? AC Flora handles Camden last night 40-28. And how about the year that the Fighting Tommy Moody's have had? They are now 9-1 this season, and they are going to the playoffs and going to have a high seed. They will host a playoff game next Friday night.
Yeah, they're only lost to South Point. I mean, a lot of teams across the state right now are playing very well at the right time of the year. It'll be interesting to see if some of these teams can make some upsets and get over there to Orangeburg for the state championship. I can't wait to start talking through the brackets when they come out and all the seeds are finalized after tonight's game. AC Flora is trying to make sure that nobody, writes them off yet. I mean, that's a good football team. I've seen Camden play multiple times this year. They've had a few hard games against the best teams they've played. So it'll be interesting to see where Camden goes in the playoffs, because Camden has been going to lower state champion, are they lower state? I'm trying to remember. Maybe upper state. They've been going to semifinal games for many years now under Coach Brian Remph, and it'll be interesting to see if they can get there this year.
Yeah, they will. And they are also hosting a playoff game, by the way. Both of these teams will have a home playoff game on Friday. What would that be? Friday, November the 7th. And one more here in the Midlands. Crestwood, the Knights, 35-22 winners over the Gators of Lakewood. The Knights of Crestwood moved to 6-4 on the season. The Upstate had a few games as well last night. Fountain Inn, the Fury took down Southside 63-0. Southside finishes the year winless as well, 0-10. If this score is correct from Max Preps, I'd like to have been at this one, Steve. The Red Devils of Liberty took down Blacksburg last night 7-0.
Wow.
To move to 7-3 on the year. And if that's the case, Blacksburg put up one heck of a fight, finishing 1-9 on the season. The Eagles of Greenwood dispatched of the Green Wave of Easley 49-7. and Greenwood moves to 9-1 on the regular season. Of course, they will host a playoff game next week. Again, if they can stop the run, Steve, I like Greenwood a lot. I like that offense. South Point, obviously region winners, the Stallions, 70-0 winners over Richland Northeast last night, and South Point finishes 9-1. That team is the only team to beat the Fighting Tommy Moody's this year. They finished 9-1. The West Side Rams. Here's a great story, Steve. We were talking about this before we came on the air. West Side 21, Wren 7, and West Side rallies to finish the year 6-4.
Crazy, man. I mean, that's why we talk about it multiple times on the show this year. We've talked about the only thing, once we hit region play, that's the only thing that matters. I mean, you know, a couple of my sources were telling me about the freshman quarterback for Westside, Bears Woods. I'm assuming relation to Cutter, who is in Columbia now, and from all accounts played well the other day. I had turned it off by that point because, you know, whatever. But we won't even go into that. But
right,
he's a freshman. Bears Woods is a freshman quarterback for him, and by all accounts, this guy is going to be the real deal. Like, some people think he could be, you know, our state's version of Trevor Lawrence. You know, we'll see. But you know, I think that just speaks to his physical differences between him and Cutter. You know, we'll see what Westside has in the playoffs. It'll be really interesting to see if they continue that. As you know, like, these teams, I mean, just speaks to the, I will say this, speaks to the character and leadership on that team to start off 0-4 and then rattle off 6 in a row, just never stopping. Kind of reminds you a lot about Shane Beamer teams over the years.
Get better.
You know, maybe not this year, but, you know, getting better and better and better. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that region in the playoff time.
Sure. And the Malden Mavericks took down JL Man 48-6 in their ball game. I want to make sure I have one. Gray Collegiate, here it is. I didn't have it highlighted. Gray Collegiate took down Gilbert 49-0 last night as well. Down to the Low Country before we hit a break, because we're wrapping up games that were playing last night. Goose Creek fell to Stratford 48-0. How about the Knights of Stratford? 9-1 on the year. They win the Golden Goose. Bamberg Earhart 56-0 winners over Denmark Oler. I asked Preston about this on Tuesday when I was with JB co-hosting the morning show, filling in for Mike Morgan. And he said, we're going to have no problems with Fort D. Somerville had no problems with Fort D. They beat Fort Dorchester 37-14. Steve, I didn't have this score written down, but a relay for me and the folks watching. Philip Simmons took care of Andrews last night. Oh, there it is. 28-14. I was looking in the record section. There we go. That's the problem. Yeah. Battery Creek fell to Hanahan. How about Hanahan with a win? Gets to 5-5, 31-21. Ashley Ridge over West Ashley, 35-0. Ashley Ridge has won the region.
Yeah. I mean, it came down to point differentials to break that tie, three-way tie between James Island and Somerville themselves.
Absolutely. The Stags of Berkeley took down the Cobras of Cane Bay 35-7. Bluffton, the Bobcats 28. May River Sharks 7. That's a good 8-2, 7-3 matchup. James Island blanked Stall last night 55-0. Lucy Beckham over the Fighting Jamie Bradfords of Wando 31-14. The Warriors finished 4-6, but everyone down there goes to the playoffs. So you got a game next week. Lucy Beckham with the win there gets to 6-3. And then the Wildcats of Dillon, 46-7 winners over the Bulldogs of Georgetown, who finished the year 0-10. All right, so that's a look at the scores from across the state from last night. And I do want to mention here, I'll tell you what, let me find who is someone's asking about the merch store and they can't see it on their laptop. We'll try to send you a link in the chat if we're able to get you a link to that so you can see what all is available there. When we come back, we'll kick off the second quarter. We will talk Low Country football next on Four Quarter Friday.
Football season. The Barn Dominium Company wants to help you build your dream home with your dream space. to watch the games and entertain your friends and family. Make your dream a reality. Visit thebarndominiumco.com. That's thebarndominiumco.com for floor plans, photo galleries, locations, and to learn more about us.
Oh man, the building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
Check the statewide high school scoreboard every Friday night on the Chief Sports app.
This is Four Quarter Friday, hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall, taking a deep dive into high school athletics in South Carolina every Friday morning. Part of the Chief Sports Network.
Welcome back into Four Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network. Justin Hall, Steve Hall with you on a Friday morning. Really digging that John Deere hat, by the way. Glad you're with us on a Friday. It is chilly. There's a frost advisory for tomorrow on November 1st. God bless it. What a time to be alive as the weather cools and football becomes more interesting. It's always interesting, but it becomes more interesting because it's playoff time. And we're talking about playoff positioning. Let's go through the rest of the low country here. We just mentioned some games that were played last night. A lot of teams across the state playing last night, not because they're scared of playing on Halloween. Although if you're playing at Gaffney tonight, I would not want to do that. I would not want to play on the reservation on Halloween.
Yeah.
Not going to happen for this young man or old man, depending. But a lot of teams played last night, just not so much security. I'm using the word security, but it's more because you need the patrol, you need law enforcement to be in the vicinity with you, and they're just stretched so thin on Halloween night, especially in areas like where I'm at. Our neighborhood's doing food trucks and all the rest tonight. So you're going to need officers on patrol, and so in those areas like that, some of those schools chose to do that. And let's just be honest, probably getting more people in the stands the night before Halloween than you would on Halloween night. So there is that. All right, the low country. The Tigers of Edisto are going to Lake Marion tonight. Both teams 4-5. Someone will finish with a 500 record tonight. The Warhorses of Barnwell go to Whale Branch to take on the Warriors. Both teams 3-6. The Bobcats of Baptist Hill go to the Trojans to take on Cross. Cross trying to put the finishing touches on a one-loss season. They get to 9-1 tonight with a win. The Islanders of St. John's host the Yellow Jackets of Branchville tonight. The Bulldogs of Burke go to Academic Magnet. Academic Magnet trying to get to 500 on the year, trying to get to 5-5. The Cougars of Colleton County go to the Battling Bishops of Bishop England. And Coach Logan Hall's team over there in Bishop England, Steve, have really fallen on some difficult times within the region. This region has really caught up with them. They're going to try to get to 7-3. They're going to the playoffs. There's no issues there with missing the playoffs. But again, when you've had a tough as region play as they've had, and they've been exposed a little bit, it would behoove of them to get right tonight. And I'm not saying Colleton County is a get-right game, but it would behoove of Bishop England to get right tonight, try to get some positive momentum heading into playoff time next week. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and their schedule at the beginning of the non-region schedule wasn't as strong as their region schedule was, of
Right.
course. And
Absolutely.
again, just the old mantra: the only thing that really matters is region play, and you'll see teams that scheduled a little harder, especially your smaller divisions, will schedule 4A, 5A, 5A Division II, 5A Division I teams in non-region play to get themselves more battle tested. Now that's also comes with a risk with getting beat up, and you kind of saw that a little bit with Ridgeview. They really wanted to test their team this year out of region before they got into region play, which is why you saw them play teams like Northwestern and Dutch Fork. And, those coaches really believe in making sure that they're not going to have an easy game week in, week out. And because they know region play, when it gets there, that's when it counts. And that's what they have to do, is be ready to go win against really good teams within that region.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and that's paid dividends for Ridgeview again. And Clinton did the same thing, by the way. And shout out in the chat box. Let me go back up here, Brandon. You're right. The best 7-3 team in the state is Clinton. They're on a bye tonight as they finished up the regular season last week. Brandon also mentioned that West Side Wren ball game. It was a good one. And Brandon's also, just really quickly before we continue on here in the Low Country, Brandon lets us know he's paying attention to Pageland Central and North Central. It's going to be a great ball game. North Central wins the region with a win. Andrew Jackson wins the region with a Pageland Central win. So Andrew Jackson, the Volunteers, pulling for Pageland Central tonight, try to get the win over Central. Good stuff there from Brandon, as always. Let's pick back up where we left off. Woodland goes to Timberland tonight. The Hurricanes of Hardyville go to Allendale Fairfax. Allendale Fairfax 1-8 on the year. Military Magnet is 0-9, trying to avoid a winless season like a lot of other teams. I was going through the list of games. A lot of teams trying to avoid a winless season tonight and trying to get to at least 1-9 instead of 0-10. They go to Scotts Branch tonight. Here's a great game for you, and I don't see Lance in the chat. Latta, 7-1, going to Johnsonville, take on the Flashes, who are 6-2. Johnsonville had a really great start of the year, and they've just continued to just play well, kind of under the radar team. Steve, I believe, in my opinion, I believe both of these teams are kind of under the radar when it comes to statewide high school football right now. But that might be because the slate is so thin in the Low Country tonight compared to most Fridays. That might be your game of the week in the Low Country.
Yeah, I wish Lance was here. It gives us a little bit of a breakdown for this game. Usually he's here, but hopefully he's doing okay.
The Alabama game might have done it to him. If you didn't hear Gamecock graffiti the other day, they might have done him in. The Trojan Bowl, the Hunter Kiner Tyler Trojans are going to the Ridge Spring Monetta Trojans tonight. Hunter Kiner Tyler trying to get to 8-2 on the year. The Blazers of Kingstree will host Atlantic Collegiate tonight. Atlantic Collegiate turning some heads in the Low Country right now. They're only 3-6, but they've battled throughout the year. When you're a team named the Armada, that's kind of what you have to do, right? Williston Elko goes to Blackville Hilda. I mentioned those 0-9 teams. That's one of them. Williston Elko trying to avoid a winless season. Wagner Sally goes to Calhoun County. I've continued to put Calhoun County in the Low Country, but I can drive into Calhoun County in about 15 minutes from my house. But the majority of Calhoun County is considered the Low Country, so I'm gonna keep them there. And they've been there all year, so I might as well just keep them there. The Beaufort Eagles are 3-6. And they're going to Hilton Head to take on the Seahawks of Hilton Head Island tonight. Hilton Head having a great year. 8-1 on the year. They've had some big-time wins down there this season. And then another great matchup that's maybe being overlooked. Marlboro County, the Bulldogs are 6-3. They're going to Waccamaw, take on the Warriors, who are also 6-3. Tanner makes a great point here in the chat. I want to mention this one as well. In fact, it'll lead us into our PD area as we roll on here on 4-Quarter Friday. The Green Sea Floyd is 0-9. They were state champs in back-to-back years. Oh, what would that have been, Steve? 2018, 2019. So what are we looking
Tanner,
at there? 6 and 7 years ago, Tanner. That's a great point. And it shows you the cyclical nature of high school football. I mean, honestly, what do you want them to do? The kids matriculate in, they matriculate out. There's the rise of other schools. There's charter. And again, this is not I'm not aiming to have this conversation today. We can have this conversation privately. But the rise of charter schools and new schools and districts, it siphons kids and it siphons athletes. And that's all cyclical. That's all part of it right now that a lot of teams are trying to grapple with. I watched 2 of them last night. Let's be honest. Brooklyn, Casey, and Airport for years were really solid football programs. Just solid. Brooklyn Casey, as of a couple years ago, was playing for a lower state championship. So, but when you're competing against
even throw I mean, Justin, just sorry to stop you
Yeah.
there, but I think
No,
you
you're
can
good.
kind of throw out the charter schools a little bit because
Mhm.
now it's basically every school. It's the transfer
Exactly.
portal,
Exactly. And that's what I was
and I
getting
don't
to.
know if anybody switched out of that out of Green Sea and moved on to a different school this year.
Sure.
But like you said,
Yeah.
this cyclical parity is, there's a good bit of parity in high school
Mhm.
football still, and I don't know what that looks like going forward with this new age of high school football we're dealing with.
Yep.
I could see a case where it could add some parity, especially with backups at bigger schools, maybe,
Yeah.
transferring out to get more playing time, maybe at a smaller division, smaller school
Mhm.
that's closer by. I could
Yeah.
see that.
Yeah.
But we'll
I
see
agree.
next year. I think next year will be a real, kind of like with college football, the first year the transfer portal didn't have as much of an effect compared to what it is
In your
now.
sense. Sure.
I mean, now it's just nuts.
Yeah. No, I agree. And again, I'm actually not an anti-charter school guy. I'm going to make that abundantly clear. What happens is that, and specifically with the airport BC dynamic, I mean, Gray is within like 5 miles,
Yeah.
within like 5 miles of both schools. So if you have the option to go there, I mean, a lot of great athletes are going there in multiple sports. Then airport's left over here, BC's left over here going, oh, crud. And again, it's beyond just the charter school. You make a great point. New schools popping up in districts because of population explosion in this state, which is a good thing. And schools are having to adjust. And I think you're right, Steve. As we move forward the next couple of years, you're going to see that balance kind of return. And I think you'll see the parity, by the way, in the playoffs across all classifications. There are a few teams that are really, really good that you're probably thinking, yeah, they're probably going to win a state championship. But by and large, in many of these classifications, you're going, I can name about 4 or 5 teams that I really see have a path to win a state championship without seeing the bracket ahead of time. So again, it's a great conversation. It's one we can get into quite frequently. But when we come back here on 4-Quarter Friday, we're going to hit the PD, we're going to hit the upstate, because we'll wrap up the show later with a loaded slate in the Midlands. We'll be back right after this on the Chief Sports Network.
Palm Casual Outdoor Patio Furniture proudly supports high school athletics across South Carolina. If it's time to make your outdoor space the best it can be, with lifetime warranties and guarantees, visit one of our Palm Casual stores in Myrtle Beach, Bluffton, Somerville, or Mount Pleasant. PalmCasual.com. PalmCasual.com. Turn on the lights. It's Friday night.
At Moultrie Insurance, our agents are working for you. Our commercial lines of coverage are well sourced and intimately chosen. We offer commercial lines of coverage such as business owners, umbrella, property, auto, or general liability coverage, and evaluate every option to find what fits you best. Like a good offensive coordinator, we will draw up the plays, but only run with what you feel comfortable. Get in touch with our quarterback, Perry Orth, or our head coach, Frank, by visiting MoultrieINS.com. MoultrieINS.com.
It's the 4-Quarter Friday High School Show on the Chief Sports Network. Proudly covering high school athletics across the state of South Carolina. With accurate, trusted analysis, in-depth interviews with coaches, media, and players, and quality information. Hosted by Justin Hall and Steve Hall. Now back to the show. Here's Justin and Steve.
Making notes about all these different games. There's so many happening across the state of South Carolina tonight. We're back on 4-Quarter Friday. Justin Hall, Steve Hall with you on a Friday morning. I got to look at the temperature really quick. According to my watch, it's 46 degrees here in the Midlands of South Carolina, 46. There's a frost advisory for tomorrow. I'm kind of a weather nerd. I love when the frost advisories start hitting 1st of November. That spells good things for the winter months. Wink, wink.
Shoot, it'll be 80 degrees on Christmas Day. Just watch.
I hope not. That's the one day. I'm fine with 80 any other day, but no, I don't need shorts on Christmas Day. If I wanted shorts on Christmas Day, I'd go live in Florida.
That's right.
right?
And
Tried to
if
live in
it's hot on
California
Christmas Day, I will crank down that AC and make it
to make
cold
it cold,
inside. Yeah.
to make you wear a hoodie, to make you wear a sweater. Anyway, we're turning up the heat on a Friday night. See that segue? That's how you do that. Segue. Over to the PD of the state of South Carolina, going through all quarters. We're in the third quarter now. We mentioned off the top, Green Sea Floyd's falls to Lakeview 52-0 last night. Green Sea Floyd's winless this year, back-to-back state championships in 18 and 19, falling on some hard times. All right, the Panthers of Lake City go to the Monarchs of Manning tonight. Manning looking to get to 7-3. The Sharks of St. James go to Socastee. The Braves are 2-7. They're trying to get their third win of the year. I'm going to skip our game of the week and come back to it. Louisville. Here's another great matchup, though, Steve. You know, you go for the big time matchups, but I love a good B card, if you will. I love it. If you think WrestleMania in the
Oftentimes they're
90s.
the best games.
Right. If you think WrestleMania in the 90s, right, everyone's focused on Michaels and Bret Hart, but the B card wasn't that bad either. Louisville is 6-3. They're going to Lamar to take on the Fighting Tommy Suggses, who are 7-2. That's a great matchup. That is a great matchup in the PD tonight, and one to keep your eye on. Both teams can score. The Swamp Foxes of Marion are trying to avoid an 0-10 season. That's going to be a tough one. Going to East Clarendon to take on the Wolverines, who are 7-2. The Blue Jackets of Aner go to Loris tonight. Loris is 9-0, trying to complete an undefeated season. Rivalry game. The North Myrtle Beach Chiefs, a.k.a. the Fighting Benji Nortons, are on the road to take on the Seahawks of Myrtle Beach. And Coach Mickey Wilson's team is 6-3. They're looking to get to win number 7 tonight against their rivals from within the city. Conway, 2-7. By the way, did anyone watch the Coastal Carolina game last night at all? Playing Marshall?
I did not.
Whew, what an environment they had. I think it's the first time Coastal had played a home game in like 40 days. It's something crazy like that.
That is
But
crazy.
they had a big win over Marshall, and they sit one game behind James Madison, and they play the Dukes in the final weekend of the season. They could win the conference. But anyway, the Tigers of Conway, however, are going to Carolina Forest 8-1. How about Carolina Forest? Just not getting talked about a lot, Steve. They're a really quality football team, and they're ranked really high in the RPI, and that's what matters. No offense to my media brethren, but I really don't care about the media poll at this point. I'm looking at the RPI for 5A and 4A. Carolina Forest is a really solid football team. It's going to be a very difficult out in the lower state.
And that's on us a little bit. We'll
Just
take
kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah, flying under the radar. I think a lot of the teams that aren't the typical, Myrtle Beach Seahawks have dominated the talk of that town for a long time. And North Myrtle Beach in recent years have been very, very good as well. But
Right.
Carolina Forest, I'm really interested to see what they do in the playoffs. If I had to look up their schedule, I can look that up here in a second. But let me see what do we got here. We got a little bit of time. We don't have any guests today. Let's look at the schedule real quick. Got it pulled up right here. 55-33 win over Hartsville in week 0.
Mm-hmm.
They lost to Irmo by 30 points in week 3. They beat a very good Ashley Ridge team who has now won that region. Ashley Ridge beat Somerville. Was it last week? I mean, crazy game.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. They've had some tough games. They've beat some really good teams. But the majority of their schedule, I will have to say, has been they
Less than
haven't really
challenging?
been challenged. Yeah, I mean, they haven't really been challenged greatly.
Yeah.
Hartsville's a smaller school, so you kind of expect a 5A team to do that against a 4A team now. But that's going to be really interesting to see where their slot goes, their seating goes in the playoffs, and I cannot wait. Can't wait for the playoffs.
Nice. Well done, Bart Scott. That was a great one.
Right.
Hartsville is going to South Lawrence. Here's our game of the week in the PD, and then we'll have to hit the upstate here within the quarter. Just really quick, a couple notes on this game. South Lawrence is one of the – Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but this has been the case since Lenoris was there. South Lawrence just wins a bunch of football games, and no one talks about them. And then we get to this time of year and really in the playoffs, and everyone goes, holy cow, the Bruins are really good. Well, they're 8-1. They're 8-1. This is just their third home game this season. It's October 31st. That's insane, first of all. And we talked to Coach before about that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well,
The Hearts,
they
although started the year 1-3 and have rattled off 5 straight.
yeah. Yeah.
So it's not
To your
an easy
point about
draw here
South
tonight.
Florence, we
Yeah.
started off talking a lot of South Florence football at the beginning of
We
the
did.
year because they were one of those teams that I mentioned earlier that scheduled really tough out
Yep.
of region. Due to how good South Florence is,
Makes it look like it
they
doesn't matter.
well, yeah, I mean, they're so much better than most of the
Mhm.
teams this year inside of that region. It when you're trying to cover the whole state, it makes it a little harder to talk about them on a weekly basis because,
Right.
I mean, now Hartsville has something to say about it. They're very well coached. Coach
They
Calabrese is
are.
one of the best coaches
Yeah.
in this state and has been for a
No
very
doubt
long
about it.
time now.
Yeah. No doubt
I
about
don't know
that.
how many years it's been, but I mean, it's 20 years.
Yeah.
Probably.
Something like
I
right
mean,
around that. I mean, it's in that ballpark
yeah.
for sure.
We need
It's a
some more
tough
Hartsville commenters in this chat. So,
Listen,
hey,
I would love some reps from Kellytown to hop in. I'm not prepared for that, but I would love that because I
well,
love Hartsville.
just as a challenge to our viewership, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Like Brandon Tanner, we've seen you. Roger's always in. I haven't seen Roger this morning, but
Seen Roger. Yeah.
share the show, like it, subscribe it. Retweet it. Do us a favor. We need some more towns listening to this and
Mhm.
giving us some more expert opinions from people that actually live in these towns, and we want to represent everybody.
By the way, we don't end when football season ends. We're going to start morphing
Right.
into basketball mode here over the next couple of weeks because the hardwood starts to heat up starting I don't within a couple weeks. I mean, you got kind of a little bit of layover here with playoff football, but we're getting started on that, so we're excited about that. All right, let's go to the upstate because Brandon leads me there with his comment. It's a great
Mhm.
point. Region title game tonight, 9-0, Ware Shoals, 7-2, Abbeville. Should be I agree with you, Brandon. That's a great football game. That is a great football game. And when Steve and I have a meeting of the minds, which is typically just one-sided, he's much smarter than I am. But when we have a meeting of the minds and we talk about this, we talk about games of the week, what ends up happening usually is we can throw out about 10 games. But then there's some weeks where the games of the week just sell themselves. And you say, yeah, these are the 5 or these are the 4. But then when you start digging into the matchup, you start going, that one could have been one. This is one of those. I mean, does Ware Shoals get them tonight? Does Ware Shoals get Abbeville tonight at home? By the way, they're not going to Abbeville. They're playing this game at home. They could nab that one. Let's go through the rest of the upstate as much as we can here before we hit a break. BHP, the number 1 team in 3A, according to the media, they're 9-0 going to Walhalla to take on the Razorbacks. The Vikings of Emerald go to Lawrence tonight. Lawrence is 1-8. The Lions of Daniel are 8-1. I passed that school on the way to the upstate a couple weeks ago to watch Clemson lose to SMU. They're taking on Greer tonight on the road. Greer trying to get to 5-5 on the year. The Warriors of Riverside are 4-5. Spartanburg's 5-4. Riverside goes to Spartanburg tonight. Sneaky. Careful if you're a Vikings fan. Be very, very careful. The Southside Christian Sabres are going to Carolina Academy tonight. Hillcrest goes to Woodmont, take on the Wildcats. Christchurch Episcopal, the Cavaliers hosting Palmetto tonight. Christchurch is 6-3 on the year. The Centurions of Broome are 4-5. They're going to Chapman. Chapman finally got a win. They're 1-8, though, a difficult year for the Panthers. The 5-4 Pendleton Bulldogs will host the 6-3 Crescent Tigers tonight. How about the story from Powdersville? Powdersville is 7-2 this year, and they are going to St. Joseph's Catholic 5-4. Powdersville got a win over Abbeville a couple of weeks ago. Well, actually, probably about a month and a half ago now. And they're looking for win number 8 on the season. The Red Devils of Great Falls go to McBee to take on the Fighting Rick Henrys, who are 1-8. Matchup of 2-2-7 teams. Travelers Rest will go over to Pickens to take on the Blue Flame in what is one of the coolest stadiums you could drive by, because if you didn't know it was a football stadium, you wouldn't know it was a football stadium, because it's just a concrete wall going into a valley over in Pickens. It's a very interesting setup there for the Blue Flame. Berea, 2-7. They go to Blue Ridge to take on the Tigers, who are 5-4. The Hornets of Dixie are 6-3. They're hosting McCormick tonight. T.O. Hannah's locked up their region. They're 8-1, but they're going to Greenville, Greenville got handled last week by Hillcrest, and I mean handled. They're 6-3 this year, trying to get to win number 7. Both of those teams are going to the playoffs. The Yellow Jackets of Buford go to Andrew Jackson tonight. We mentioned earlier, Andrew Jackson is pulling for Pageland Central tonight. Woodruff goes to Union County. Woodruff trying to get to 9-1. The Rebels of Strom Thurmond go to 96 tonight. Can 96 pull off another upset, Steve? Can they get Strom Thurmond tonight? I don't think so, but I didn't think so a couple of weeks ago either.
Yeah.
When they picked off Saluda. Strom Thurmond's a really good football team.
Yeah, and that classification is really, really interesting. I think it's a coin flip on 4 or 5 teams to go all the way and hold up the trophy at the end. Strom Thurmond, I was able to see one time this year when they played Batesburg, and physically they are very impressive, very gifted on the line of scrimmages and on the outside with speed. Several north-south players, I believe. I'm trying to recall the Shrine Bowl. We haven't talked enough about the Shrine Bowl this year, which we should do that over the next month or so. We will be. Yep. But very impressive. But 96 has some good coaches over there, and they have done a good job of just getting those guys better and better. I think I would pick Strom this week.
I would as well. The Cardinals of Landrum go to Chesney. Chesterfield is at Sherrall. We mentioned Abbeville at Ware Shoals. York goes to Lancaster. Wade Hampton gets the unfortunate task of going to the reservation to take on Gaffney on Halloween night, trying to avoid an 0-10 season. I'm so sorry, Wade Hampton of the Upstate. Dorman goes to East Side. Dorman's already wrapped up that region. They'll probably be 8-2 after tonight. Burns goes to Boiling Springs. Nation Ford, the Fighting Jake Bentleys, go to Fort Mill to take on the Yellow Jackets. The Copperheads of Catawba Ridge go to Clover. And the game of the week in the Upstate is Indian Land going to Northwestern. That Indian Land defense is trying to salt away a 10-0 season. What an upset this would be, Steve, for the Warriors of Indian Land to take down Northwestern on the road and try to silence that offense. Going to be a great ball game up there in the Upstate in Rock Hill tonight.
Man, is this game streaming? I mean, we need some more. Hey, again, and our buddy and Mad Dog just texted this to us, but hey, we need everybody, and we need some people up in Rock Hill to subscribe, rate, review the new podcast, our show on Spotify and Apple. We're on those channels now too. Not only Rock Hill, but Rock Hill's got some of the best football in our state. We need that to happen ASAP.
No doubt about that.
But gosh, 2 undefeated teams inside of region play. Northwestern is certainly more tested out of region, which, kind of bites me in the butt when I talk about only thing that matters is region play. But we will see what happens tonight in Rock Hill. Justin, what is your take? Obviously Indiana Land's defense against Northwestern's offense. Northwestern has a great defense as well.
They do.
What are we looking at?
It's a great story. Indian Land's a fantastic story, and one that I've said it on this show. I say it on the high school scoreboard show that I host on 107.5. Indian Land should have been ranked weeks ago. I believe they're a really good football team, and they're a really good defense. That win over Clover was impressive.
Well, they're number 5 in the RPI.
You're probably not beating Northwestern tonight, though.
Yeah.
I mean, Xavier Means is a really good quarterback. I don't see that happening. I could be wrong.
It's at home.
I'm not betting against Paige Wolford. Yeah, I'm not betting against Paige Wolford at home to try to get to 9-1 and win a region. I ain't doing it. But it should be a fun game and one that I'm willing to track. And I'm going to search down whether or not you can watch it. I do know I'll text Chris Miller, but I do believe that game will you'll be able to listen to it tonight. But I'll do some work on that. We got to hit a break because when we come back, we got a loaded Midland slate to wrap up the regular season finale of 4 Quarter Friday right here on the Chief Sports Network.
Morning, Carl. Usual?
Yeah.
Your oldest was in here the other day. Said the two of you took a trip down to my neck of the woods. How'd that go?
You might as well give me one of those Carolina cars while you're at it.
I knew I'd like that one.
Yeah.
There you go, my friend.
Thanks.
Hey, Carl. Congratulations.
See you tomorrow, Freddie.
You bet.
Welcome to Dry Space Crawl Space Solutions. Basement crawl space encapsulation designed for your specific needs. Your crawl space can be susceptible to all sorts of issues, including moisture buildup, mold growth, and structural damage if not cared for properly. Let our trained experts provide basement crawl space encapsulation solutions to protect your home, improve air quality, and enhance energy efficiency. Schedule your consultation today for a safer, healthier space at dryspacecs.com.
Do your wood floors need a touch-up? Visit recoatrevolution.com in South Carolina today. Welcome back to Four Quarter Friday, part of the Chief Sports Network. Let's talk ball.
Welcome back in. Four Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network. We're wrapping up the regular season of our program. Sorry, Steve, I just saw your text. I
Very
apologize
good.
for that. I apologize for that. I wasn't even looking. I was looking at the comment section and not looking at the chat. It's the Midlands. Is this the best slate of games in the state, in this region? Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, we'll get to this game, but let's just shoot.
the game.
Let's lead off right off the bat. And the fourth quarter of the Four Quarter Friday show, Irmo hosting Dutch Fork for the region championship. Irmo's undefeated, and I was able to catch on Twitter. I still call it Twitter.
It's still Twitter.
Yeah, it's still Twitter. Aaron Brand was interviewed, I think it was by Lou Bajak earlier this week, and at practice, and Coach Brand was kind of saying, like, listen, yeah, it's a rivalry, but how much is it a rivalry? Lately, they haven't got that win, and that's what they're looking for, and that's how they consider it and look at it from the Irmo side. And then that's credited to Coach Tom Knott's team and at Dutch Fork, and the Yellow Jackets are extremely motivated to win this game tonight. It does. If you need to be motivated on a game like this, like something, you're just dead. You're not even alive.
Well, yeah. If this game doesn't get your fire burning, your wood's wet. I mean, that's really where it's at. This game, Steve. If we're starting with this one, here's your skinny on the game. Here's the interesting part. These two teams are in the separate divisions, because we still do this. Dutch Fork is in Division 1, Irmo's in Division 2. So they're not going to meet in the playoffs. They can't play for a state championship. They can't play in the playoffs. This is it. Irmo's trying to finish an undefeated season, but this doesn't impact their playoff positioning. So if you're Irmo trying to avenge last season's loss, you got nothing to lose. I mean, if you lose this game, you've already wrapped up the 1 seed in lower state. So that's done. This isn't going to impact your seeding, win or lose. Now, a win's going to really impact your season because you just did that. You just beat them. But Oceanside Collegiate's over here going, hey, we did that earlier this year too. But if you're Dutch Fork, though, Steve, you win tonight, this could propel you in the RPI. Right now, I think you're sitting third in RPI in the Division 1 bracket of 5A. A win tonight, theoretically, is going to bump you to number 1 in RPI, just based on your win percentage, your opponent's win percentage, and the opponents of your opponent's win percentage.
Well, based on the RPI, Justin, I think Dutch Fork might actually have the number 1 RPI in 5A Division 1 locked up. Looking at the top 3, you got South Point. They're number 1 in RPI, but they're 4A.
Right.
Northwestern is 5A Division 2, if I'm not mistaken, and they're number 2. And Dutch Fork is number 3, Irmo number 4. So Irmo has a chance to rise above Northwestern,
Yeah.
potentially for the highest strength RPI. And this is the second year that they're doing this through Max Preps. Really, I kind of like it, actually.
You do?
I kind of like it. I mean, it's a little better than what we had. But I mean, from what I understand, too, Prep Red Zone, South Carolina Prep Red Zone over there with Ian Greer and then the guys over there do a great job. And I think they're coming up with their own sort of RPI that might be a little better. And I think they're getting that honed in
Yeah.
for next year. But going back to what you were saying about Irmo and Dutch Fork, man,
Mhm.
you know, something else Coach Brand mentioned this week with Lou was they kind of feel like, the pressure doesn't really come from the outside; it's coming from internally of wanting them to win. But
Sure.
if I'm on that team, if I'm an Irmo Yellow Jacket and I'm playing in this game tonight, you kind of hit
Mhm.
on it. I mean, like this doesn't impact your chances for the playoffs. That kind of relieves a little bit of pressure and maybe can help you play a little looser in a game like this. Matchup wise, and I'll want to hear your thoughts too, but matchup wise, man, this is a good matchup. I mean,
And specifically on the front, specifically
yeah,
on the front line of the defense, because if you look at Dutch Fork, Julian Walker's committed to Michigan. He's the number 3 ranked player in the state, and that's according to both 247 and on 3. He's got 42 tackles, 12 of them for loss. Jaden Worth is another good one. He's got a bunch of Power 4 offers. Um, their center, Brody Lorenzo at Dutch Fork, is one of the top players in his class in 2028. Jaden Bryant leads that Irmo defensive line. He's ranked number 11th in the country in the class of 2027, according to On 3. He's got 8 sacks this season. Their offensive lineman, Nate Carson, is a 4-star prospect. He's got plenty of Power 4 offers.
this is going to be the best offensive line Dutch Fork has seen, and I've been really impressed with the Irmo offensive line this season. I had a chance to see him in person against Whitenall, who brings a salty defense every week. You know, they could not get through and could not push that line back enough against that Irmo team, and Irmo won that
Right.
game 14-3. As far as the line of scrimmages, I don't know. I mean, if you were to combine both of them, Irmo might be the better offensive line. We'll
I think I'd
see.
agree with that.
But so the game's such a toss up. I mean, do you lean with Tom Knotts? I mean, just having that coaching pedigree and how many state championship rings they got now. I don't know how many he
Sure.
has total. I can't
He's
remember.
like
It's more
he's
than
like Kurt.
10 or more.
He's like Kurt Signetti. I win.
Yeah,
Google me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the quarterbacks. It's 2 new quarterbacks in this situation. Drayvon Dobson for Irmo, Jackson Knotts for Dutch Fork. Which quarterback makes that play? You know what I'm talking about? Which quarterback makes that throw? And then which quarterback avoids that mistake, right? You negative yards are going to kill you in this ball game. Turnovers are going to kill you in this ball game. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and call my shot. I'm calling my shot. Irmo gets the win tonight. I think Irmo gets the win tonight behind that offensive line. I really do. In a home environment, I like it.
I think I would pick them too.
I like it. Let's continue rolling through because we're running short on time here. But I really love that conversation about this game because it's the best game in the state, maybe all year. We've been talking about this game since the ball went through the goalpost when Northwestern beat Irmo last year. We've been talking about this game coming back to this moment this season. Other games in the Midlands. The Green Hornets of Aiken go to South Aiken tonight in a rivalry game. South Aiken trying to get to 5-5. Silver Bluff, a pair of 5-4 teams here. Silver Bluff hosting Fox Creek. Oceanside Collegiate going to Orangeburg Wilkinson. Here's another region title game for you, Steve. Oceanside Collegiate 7-2. They have a win over Dutch Fork. They played Irmo really well early in the year, and they've just kind of rolled. Orangeburg Wilkinson's done the same thing. OW, now again, level of competition might have something to say about this. But OW's been really good. They're 9-0. One of those is due to a forfeiture. So 8-0 in terms of in-game action. That is for a region title tonight. West Florence goes to Spring Valley. Spring Valley's 2-7. The Gamecocks of Sumter have wrapped up the region. They finished the year on the road at Westwood tonight. We have just talked at length about that Dutch Fork Irmo game tonight. Should be a great one there. Swansea goes to Newberry. Here's the situation. Newberry wins, they're region champs. Swansea wins. It could force a three-way tie at the top of that region, and then we get into some tiebreakers. I'm a big fan of Coach Willie Fox. I'm a big fan of the Swansea Tigers. I love that story this year. Newberry might win this game by 30. Then I mean that with all due respect, because Newberry is really, really good.
They may.
And Swansea's level of competition this is the same thing. Steve, what was the game that you mentioned a couple of weeks ago? And you nailed it. You hammered that pick, the prediction. I can't remember who it was that I cannot remember off the top of my head.
I can't remember.
I don't like that strength of schedule coming in. They haven't been battle tested. I'm not certain about it. And you nailed it. I'm with you on that.
I think it was Swansea, Silver Bluff.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
Silver Bluff. Silver
and
Bluff
I'm with you
really
here.
Challenged.
Yeah, and I'm with you here. I'm with you here on this game.
Swansea would need a Silver Bluff team to lose tonight if they want to win the region. Just as
which could happen to Fox Creek.
It could.
Fox Creek could nip up and get them.
Yep, but we got to hit the rest of the games.
Yeah.
We got the Bengals of Blythewood traveling to Ridgeview to play the Blazers, who are 6-3 on the year. The Rebels of Mid Carolina, Justin, are 4-5, looking to get the 5th win against the Eau Claire Shamrocks.
You want to note on this game really quick? Eau Claire,
yes,
with their
absolutely.
6th win. Let me make sure I get this right. The 6th win for Eau Claire would give them their most wins in a season since 1986. Carry on.
Wow.
Carry on.
Props to the Shamrocks. I mean, they're obviously doing some good things this year. Congrats to those kids and those coaches. We got the Stallions of Lee Central, who are 4-5, traveling to C.A. Johnson at 4-5. Last night, we already talked about this, but Gilbert lost to Gray Collegiate 49-0. The Capitals of Columbia are 3-6 and traveling to Fairfield. Play the Griffins, who are 6-3 on the year. The Tigers of Saluda are 5-4, traveling to Batesburg Leesville tonight, who are 6-3. That's a big game for playoff seeding. We'll see what happens tonight in Batesburg Leesville. The Eagles of Central, who are 7-1, sneaky game here, going to play the North Central Knights 7-2. North Central has the chance to wrap up the region. I think you actually covered that earlier, Justin, with a win tonight.
Yep.
And then Yellow Jackets of North Augusta are 8-1 on the year, traveling to Midland Valley to play the Mustangs. 2 really good teams square off in the CSRA tonight to kind of finish up our 4th quarter in the Midlands region of the last regular season week of the year.
Yeah, it's been a great season. I think it's been a lot of twists and turns this year. And again, we go back to your parity conversation. We've seen it. We've seen it all year. Our games of the week, we've talked about them. I like Irmo springing a mild upset over Dutch Fork. I don't know how much of an upset that is, honestly, if you want me to be honest. I think Hartsville could nip South Florence tonight. Could Indian Land beat Northwestern? Yeah, they could. That defense is really good. So just in the games of the week, you're seeing that parity. You're seeing that even playing field. And it should be a great night of high school football action. Steve, I know you wanted to mention something for some folks, a goodwill gesture they can do for the weekend.
Well, Justin, as you know, we're not a political show at all, and I'm not going to get into the politics of this at all. But as many of you may know, and may some of you might not know, our government, federal government's in a shutdown right now, and as of right now, it looks like that SNAP and EBT benefits will be running out tomorrow, which is going to leave a lot of people in jeopardy as far as food goes. And I just encourage y'all to me and my family, we're going to go spend some money at the grocery store and donate to local food banks. I know in Lexington we got the Mission Lexington, who's really big. Many of you probably know the community food shelter or the food bank in your own town. So I just encourage us to it's not time to point fingers. It doesn't matter right this second. We don't have any control over that, But if you have the means, if you can, go get some groceries and get it donated to these food shelters, because they're going to need it really, really soon. And it's an emergency situation.
Absolutely. So make sure you do that. Enjoy your high school football Friday night, your last one of the regular season. Enjoy your Halloween night. If you're trick-or-treating in Jamie Bradford's neighborhood, don't take handfuls of candy. He's got cameras watching you from his front porch. Enjoy it. We'll see you guys next Friday as we talk about the playoffs on Four Quarter Friday on the Chief Sports Network.
From the Low Country to the Upstate, from the Midlands to the PD, we've got you covered. This is our state. South Carolina matters to us. All of South Carolina. We love talking ball, and we love talking ball with you. Thank you for tuning in to the Four Quarter Friday High School Show. Every Friday at 9 a.m. on the Chief Sports Network. Now, back to Justin and Steve.